is early June here at Fruition Seeds, and we're planting our tomatoes. We probably could have gotten away with it a couple weeks ago, but we like to stay on the total safe side. We started these tomatoes in the beginning of April, and we potted them up several times, and now the final moment of truth has come. Now we transplant them into their final homes. And the technique I'm about to show you works marvelously in garden soil. It also works marvelously in containers. And here's the thing. Tomatoes are so resilient, and you can plant the tomato up to here. This entire stem will become a root system, an extensive root system that, although your tomato is this tall in 2 minutes when I plant it, it will be that much taller, that much faster. So I can't recommend enough planting your tomatoes as deep as you dare, knowing that you'll get that much more tomato in time. And another important thing, when you do plant them, I like to snap off the leaves. And the leaves, rather than just tossing them aside or to the compost, tomatoes love to decompose themselves. They're tropical plants. A lot of tropical plants, it's a brilliant adaptation so that they can maximize the relatively limited nutrients, believe it or not, in tropical environments. So be sure that when you dig that hole, tuck those leaves right in and they will happily decompose themselves. You also want to be sure that in the land of tomato pruning, you can start already when you have this young seedling tomato. You can see, for example, that this stalk that's coming off is not just a leaf. This is a leaf. I just see, beautiful leaves. But this, you can see, there's leaves, there's also a stem, there's a growth point. So tomatoes create all kinds of suckers, they're called, that are not just they have one stem at the top, but many alternate stems all along the length of the entire plant. They can have dozens and dozens of stems by the end of the season. And you want lots of stems because often that translates into more fruit, but you don't want stems within the first 6-8 inches of the base of the plant. And that's because imagine your tomatoes that you'll harvest at the end of the year. They're coming off trunks this wide. They're like small trees. And so any stalk that's that close to the base, if you have something this big coming off, something that's this big, all of a sudden there can be significant breakage when you have all this weight up top. So right now, as you're planting your tomatoes, you can see there's some little suckers at the bottom. I'm plucking them off. Here's this big sucker on the side. I'm also going to pluck that one off. And looks like that is good for now. I do, however, see that there are some blossoms up top. And so I'm also going to pluck those, which is perhaps counterintuitive. I am planting a tomato for a tomato, and I won't get a tomato until it blossoms. But thing is, it's so young. It's so early in the season. It's throwing those flowers because it sees that it's living in this finite pot. That means it has finite nutrients, and it sees that, well, if it's kind of a now or never situation, if I might project on our little tomato plant. But it doesn't know, perhaps it does, who am I to say, that it has this huge, beautiful pot full of gorgeous soil and tons of nutrients. So if I, in fact, leave those flowers, I might get some fruit and a little earlier, but ultimately it will stunt the growth and the production of this tomato. So pluck all of those extraneous apical buds and suckers, if you will, and pluck any of those flowers that you might see. And next I'm going to tuck my label on the side, and I'm going to dig a hole so that I can fully immerse this beautiful tomato plant in the glory of this pot. And you can see you can be fairly delicate, but know that tomatoes are very resilient, and it's going to take a lot of trauma of you putting it in the ground not nicely for it to be unconvinced that life is good. So here's a beautiful tomato that I've buried about 2/3 of its stem, and very soon it'll be growing roots from every bit of that stem. But know that this is the only tomato, is the only plant that you can really do that with. Here I have a marvelous little eggplant, and were I to do that, the stem would simply rot. So whether in a ground cherry, peppers, basically anything else you're planting, you really, really want to be sure that you're planting this right at ground level. And any tomatoes are the only ones that you want to bury that stem. And know as well, in terms of containers, and certainly soil as well, but especially in containers, the quality and quantity of soil you have in these containers is directly impacting the quantity and quality of abundance that you'll be harvesting. So don't skimp. And don't go for Miracle Grow. Don't be fooled. Plants know the difference, as do our bodies. Vitamins, yes, can augment a healthy diet, but nothing can ultimately replace a healthy diet for humans, and soil is the same way. Make sure you have lots of compost, worm castings, and have a great season. Feel free to write, call anytime. We are always available to consult with your organic gardening needs, and have a great season, friends.